Okay, before we worry about dividing with decimals, let's just do a quick review. If we have the problem 137 or 1,375 divided by 5, what is the first number that the 5 goes into? Evan?
13.
5 goes into 13 how many times?
2.
2. Since the 5 is going into the 13, that 2 is going to go above the 3. 2 times 5 is 10. I subtract, I get 3. I bring down to 7. 5 goes into 37 how many times?
7.
7. That 7 is going to go above that 7. 7 times 5 is 35. I subtract, I get 2. I bring down to 5. 5 goes into 25 how many times, Wyatt?
5.
5 times 5 is 25. I subtract, and I get 0. Okay? That's the basic steps for division. If we have this, $42,983 divided by 38. The first thing I want you to do is to underline the 3. Now, what is the first number that the 3 goes into? Autumn?
4.
4. How many 3's go into 4?
1.
1 time. We know our 1 times table, so we know that we would check that 1 times 38 is
38.
38. Can we use the 38? Yes. Okay? Now, because the 38 is smaller than the 42, where would that 1 go? Shayna?
Above the 2.
It goes above the 2. The reason it goes above the 2 is because the first number that the entire 38 goes into is the 42. This is going to be very important for today. Pay attention, Colton. So 1 times 38 is 38. I subtract. I can't do 2 minus 8. So I borrow. That gives me 4. I bring down the 9. Once again, the first number that the 3 is going to go into is the 4. How many times is 3 going to go into 4? Once again, it's going to be 1. We know our 1 times table, 1 times 38 is 38. Is that 38 going to work? Yes. So that 1 is going to go above the 9. 1 times 38 is 38. I subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. I now bring down the 8. I like to draw the arrows so that I know that if I have any more numbers that I need to bring down. Now, what is the first number that the 3 goes into? The 11. How many 3's go into 11? Shayna? How many 3's go into 11? Steph?
3.
3. So I'm going to check it. I take 38 times 3. Because when I'm checking, I got to take that 3 times the entire 38. 3 times 8 is 24. Carry the 2. 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 is 11. Does 114 work? Yes. So it's going to go 3 times. That 3 goes above the 8. 3 times 38 is 114. I subtract. I get 4. I bring down to 3. Now the first number that the 3 goes into is 4. How many 3's go into 4? 1. I know 1 times 38 is 38. Is that 38 going to work? Yes. That 1 goes above the 3. 1 times 38 is 38. I subtract. I borrow. And I get 5. Now, depending on what goes on, we can write it as a fraction, put it as a remainder, or we could also keep going to a decimal. If we want to keep going to a decimal, what we're going to do is we put a decimal, add a 0, and move that decimal straight up. Now I'm going to bring that 0 down. And now the first number that the 3 goes into is 5. 3 goes into 5 1 time. We check it. 38 times 1. Is that going to work? Yes. That 1 would go above the 0. 1 times 38 is 38. I subtract. 0 minus 8 can't do. Bar for the 5 makes it a 4. Makes that 0 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. And it would continue on. We'd continue adding a 0 until it works out. Okay? Any question about dividing with a 2-digit number? And if it doesn't work out, how to put a decimal and add a 0. Okay? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to be dividing with decimals. Now, just like in this situation here, when we had a decimal, what did we do with that decimal? Owen? We move it straight up. So if we have this problem 1 7/10 divided by 3. Before we do anything else, we're going to move that decimal straight up. And then once we do that, we pretend that decimal is not even there. Okay? Now, the first number that the 3 goes into is what?
17.
How many 3's go into 17? 5. Where did that 5 go? Johnny?
Doesn't it go above the 7?
It goes above the 7. Because the first number that the 3 goes into is 17. So we want to make sure that we put the 5 in the correct location. And this is why I stressed to you before about putting those numbers in the correct location. Because whenever we're dividing with decimals, if you don't put them in the correct location, it's going to be wrong. So now we multiply 5 times 3 is 15. I subtract, I get 2. I would add another 0, bring that 0 down, and we would continue on. Questions about that? If we have this, (3 6/10) divided by 5/10. Now, what's the first thing we're going to do? Wyatt?
Move the decimal to the right 1 place to 5.
We can't have a decimal in our divisor. So we got to get rid of that decimal. The way we get rid of it is simply moving it. So we're going to move it 1 place. Now, since we moved the decimal in our divisor 1 place, what do we have to do, Steph?
Move the decimal in the 3 and 6.
Move the decimal in our dividend 1 place as well. So now the decimal is here. So now I move it straight up, and it is there. And now I divide like normal. The first number the 5 goes into is, Shayna,
36.
how many 5s go into 36?
7.
7 times. Where did that 7 go?
Above the 6.
It goes above the 6. 7 times 5 is 35. I subtract, I get 1. I already have my decimal there. So now all I need to do is add a 0. And bring that 0 down. And now 5 goes into 10 how many times?
2.
2. That 2 goes above the 0. And 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract, I get 0. Okay? If I have this problem, (6 and 8 10) divided by 2,500. What is the first thing I need to do? Johnny?
Get rid of that decimal.
So what am I going to do?
I'll move it over 2 places.
I need to move it over 2 places. 1, 2. So now what do I need to do? Aiden?
Move the decimal in the
Dividend?
dividend over 2 places.
I need to move this 2 places. 1, 2. Since I moved it 2 places, we have an empty loop. What goes in the empty loop?
0.
A 0. And now, we divide like we normally would. Okay, first of all, we're going to move that decimal so we don't forget it. And now the first number that 2